So, very cool deal. And we're up and running again this week. So, everybody, it's in high spirits, right?
Sick.
Hey,
I'm not sick for once.
If I have to say like Cold Blue and then run away from the microphone, that means I am about to like destroy a bathroom's morale.
It doesn't mean we have a shoplifter.
Code Blue.
No.
As long as you don't suddenly scream Armageddon.
Shouldn't that be Code Brown then?
Okay.
Wouldn't that be the appropriate?
Well, I mean that's being optimistic.
Hopefully not red.
Jins just suddenly gets really quiet and he goes, "Guys, I gotta go. I gotta go for a few minutes." Where you going? I just gotta go. And you can hear him crying in the distance.
You'll hear me spritzing poopery in the distance as hard as I can. Oh, dude, that stuff's great.
Poopery.
wait, that's actually a thing?
Yes.
Yes! Oh my god,
absolutely.
that's the thing.
You've never seen the commercials for that? They have them online all over the place.
The best commercial
yeah,
of any product ever.
Poopery.
It's just like a posh British woman talking about taking dumps, and it's the greatest.
I feel like I've been undervaluing the impact of commercials.
Bitch.
I need to start watching those again.
You do,
Right.
apparently. At least for comedic value, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Well, most of them are garbage, but like, we don't pay for cable. We only like torrent all of our stuff we watch. So we don't get to really hear all the good commercials until like all of our friends are like, "No, really, this poopery commercial is solid gold."
yeah, the only ones I see are someone's like, I'm posting this to Facebook.
Yeah, that's how I saw this one. That's why I'm a little surprised you didn't see it. Excuse me, because it was going. Everybody was spreading that shit.
Literally.
But it's great. It's the before you poop potpourri. It's a little like bottle of essential oils you spritz in your toilet bowl, and then when you poop, it traps all the poo smell under the water, and you can't smell your poo. It's delightful and it works. That's all I'm saying.
It's worth the investment.
It's worth the investment. Ours is like it's citrusy smelling, and when you take a dump, like all anything you smell is like when your poo hits the film, it just releases the pleasant citrusy smell.
No,
It's what I'd imagine my poo would smell like if I ate nothing but lemons.
I was
If you
gonna
were
say,
like-
all I can imagine is it's Jins comes home from work and he's like, he opens the door and all he does is he smells oranges and he's like, "Honey, I don't feel too good. I smell a lot of oranges. Smells like a citrus grove in here."
It's what your bathroom would smell like if you were Bono.
I'm pretty sure Bono's poops just smell like fresh cinnamon rolls.
Oh, God.
It smells like Cinnabon.
Cinnamon.
Cinnabon, if you want to send us money for advertising.
Right?
Anyway.
Dear Cinnabon, if you want to create a thing that I can shove in my butt that when I go poop it smells like fresh baked cinnamon rolls, I will beta test that pill for you.
And we will try to get Bono on board. Somebody knows Bono, I'm sure.
Let's get Bono. Oh, yeah, somebody somewhere knows Bono, right?
What's our 6 degrees of separation?
We'll call it Cinnabono and make $1
right.
million.
Nice.
Let's get on this. Why isn't this a thing already?
Right?
Anyway, so you guys are, well, you left Lagoin, the charming little village.
The happiest place on earth.
That's right. And
Yeah, right.
you
It's a
guys-
small world ride, right?
right.
Right? If you look to the left,
Lagoin, suffering toddlers. No, one toddler, I guess, 6 or 7. Anyway.
that was a 400-year-old toddler.
Yeah, that's true. Anyhow,
Benjamin Buttons over there is sucking up all our suffering.
so you guys head out, and it's a pretty sullen walk for you all. Nobody's really in a happy mood. And it takes the rest of the day before you realize that you're starting to be able to smell the sea air, the salt that gets thrown up into the air from the sea. And you're actually coming up on a coastline after a couple of more hours walk. And you do see a pretty large, lively city kind of sprawling out in front of you. Has anybody got geography knowledge?
I don't believe so. Let me verify that.
Can I use survival or something to?
Geography.
Yeah, I'll let you use survival, get a rough estimate of where you're headed.
Geography.
I'd suspect survival would have some, like star charting or
Yeah,
something to it.
yeah.
I
at
have
least
a
get
good
an
survival.
idea.
Yeah, if you're willing to go survival, I've got good survival.
Yeah, if you got
Yeah,
survival, roll it.
Yeah.
Yonder
have
knows where
high
he is at all
composure.
times.
Or
Do I
I'll go
have
with the
survival?
spare to the druids one there.
So,
No, I don't.
Yonder, you know that there is a city in the north here that is very lively. It's a large port city called Freeport. You know that it is a city made of what has essentially become several different pirate gangs that have basically come together as a city council and run the city, and it is a unabashedly unashamed pirate port.
Awesome.
Tell me there's like sea shanties and jaunty tunes afoot.
There are jaunty tunes on the air, sea shanties being sung by all.
Is there? Please tell me there's a salty witch or just a salty ass sea witch with a hairy mole on her cleavage that everybody knows.
I'm
Like,
sure
there's songs
there may
written
be
about it.
somewhere. There may be one somewhere.
Is it Olga?
It might be.
Mom?
Sea shanties are just for guys trying to rationalize the fact that they like musicals. It's all the fuck that is. So
I like sea shanties. Fuck you.
there you
I like
go.
musicals.
But that is you guys to give you a rough idea. Unfortunately, I wanted
Nice.
to make this map look a little bit better, but it doesn't.
Works perfect.
You're coming in from the north. The gate that you enter is actually in the Temple District. A lot of the buildings there are, as you would expect, ultimately they look very well taken care of. The streets are pretty crowded with people walking back and forth, and you see temples to everything. There are temples to gods that you recognize. There are temples to gods you don't recognize. There are temples to the arts. There are temples of knowledge. There are temples of study for martial arts. There's pretty much anything you could think that somebody may dedicate their life to studying. There's a temple there, and a lot of these temples look more like libraries than they do what you think of as a temple. Howdy, Crunch. How's it going? And that's what you see as you enter. And a lot of the people in the city get the feeling that this is going to be where anybody that actually can hold a conversation beyond the word "yar" may be located. A couple of other things of note is that as you look to the south and over the port harbor, you can see that there is a lighthouse being constructed, and it's probably still got a month or two of construction left on it before it's completed, but it's getting there.
Strange that a port city would have to wait this long to build a lighthouse.
Well, it's a pirate port city. They weren't in any official capacity for a long time. So
Who knows? The original lighthouse may have been destroyed when the pirates took over by force.
Yep.
Two
very
very
possible.
few striping.
So I'm going to let you guys, since we're going to try this a little differently this week, guys, let me know what you want to do. I'm just going to go down the line here. Gingy, what do you want to do? Is there a particular place that you're seeking out?
I am very interested in the temples, since there are so many unorthodox and not just dedicated to deities type of temples.
Okay.
I'm looking for some sort of and I'm being loose with this. It could be anything regarding the subject. Some kind of temple of the bard, like an actors guild sort of thing, like some sort of comedy tragedy, temple of performance and stage.
Okay. And there is one there, and it looks like it's a majority of the. Well, as you walk through, let me try to actually narrate this a little bit better. As you walk through the streets and you're passing by all these temples, one does catch your eye, and it's got the gleaming kind of drama faces made out of gold, big gold ribbon behind them. And the temple itself is set up that it looks like you go in and you have stairs on the right and left that go down and into what appears to be an audience, and you just walk past the stage as you come in. And so there's a troupe up on stage performing, and doing a bit as you walk in. But there's definitely several different troupes practicing their routines, and you see a couple of magicians and sorcerers there practicing their sleight of hand and their different tricks.
Is there a past the stage and troops performing? Is there a also like a library section to this one?
There is. It's a little less organized. It's actually kind of got books strewn about the place, so you're going to have to kind of dig around for what you're looking for. If you're looking for anything specifically, the shelves have been swept clean and made as for storage for props and for costumes instead of books.
I'm not looking for anything absolutely particular in the shelves. I'm basically looking for anything as far as my craft goes, because I'm a prestidigitator and a manipulator of peoples. So anything I can do to like learn new techniques or some interesting new way I might be able to grift people.
Okay.
I'm just here on my own personal accord. It has nothing to do with our mission in life. I'm just here because I'm having kind of an existential crisis after the fucking bullshit that was the last town, and I'm trying to get back to my character's roots.
Okay. There are definitely sleight of hand books and books for pickpocketing and kind of more underhanded sorcerer crafting, because a lot of the sorcerers that come through here are gypsies.
Perfect.
And so there's definitely a lot of grifting books that are there, and just different techniques. And if you want to spend the afternoon studying, go ahead and give yourself a point in sleight of hand.
Yes, I would like to do that.
All right. Cypher, what are you doing?
I am looking for a looking, I guess a hotel, or not a hotel, but a tavern or something, so that I can take care of my mount. My horse needs to be taken care of, so that's my focus.
Okay, are you gonna stay in the Temple District, or are you gonna kind of explore the city a little bit?
Well, my first concern is to making sure that I get my horse stabled and taken care of, and then I'll worry about investigation
Okay.
into other stuff.
So in the Temple District, you don't really come across an inn anywhere. There is a walled section of the city right in the center of Freeport. It looks like it's the older part of the city. And you pass by these walls in between two huge gates. And then right on the other side of the wall, there's an inn and stable there. And I am terrible with coming up with location names right off the top of my head. I should get better at this.
Bromhaven.
It is, let's see.
Durglishire.
Dudenshire.
Durglishire.
Let's
This is
see.
how the locals would say it.
It is the Butcher Inn.
Durglishire.
Okay.
And actually it's got a big like honk of honk? That's not the right word. What's the word I'm looking for?
Don't take this from me. Durglishire is a thing.
Durglishire sounds like it would be a dwarven
Hashtag Durglishire for life. Hashtag Durglishire 15.
Hey, Hank.
haunch. A haunch of meat? There we go.
Yeah.
Hashtag asshole.
I was wondering when I asked Paul.
There's a haunch of meat on the sign that says the Butcher's Inn, and you go in, or inn and stable. And do you want to investigate that? Do you want to keep looking?
Yeah, I think any place that is a meat shop as well as a place you store animals is probably not the best place to store my horse.
All right, fair
So,
enough.
yeah.
All
Of
right.
course, it might be
Hashtag
the
swag
greatest
holder.
place ever for Tambourine to hang it.
There is a little bit further down in the center of, towards the center of Old City, about here. There's a inn called the Worms Inn, WYRM, and it's got a stable. It looks like it's a little bit more upscale than the Butcher's Inn was.
Okay, that sounds that looks good. So I will bring said horse to around the back to where the stable is and look for a stable boy or horse master or someone.
All right, and you hear somebody digging around in one of the stalls, but you don't really see anybody right off.
Okay. I'll wait a little bit, and if dude doesn't stick his head out, hello?
After a minute, a little dwarf peeks his head around. He's got just kind of graying red hair and big beard, and he's like, "Yeah, can I help you?"
I need to I need my horse stabled and fed and taken care of while I'm in the town, or I'm in the city.
Okay. He nods and says, "Well, it'll be 2 gold a night for your horse, and if you'd like a room at the inn will give you a small discount for stabling your horse here as well."
That's fine.
Okay, and he rips off a ticket and hands you the ticket, and he says it's a 2-night stay at least, so 4 gold up front.
All right, where's my money, yo? Where the fuck is my? Oh, here it is. Okay, so what I will do is I will give him 10 gold.
Okay.
And say the 4 is for the fee, and the extra 6 is to take extra care of my mount.
He nods and pockets the gold. He says, "I appreciate it." He rumbles around in a leather sack that he's got back beside his stool. He pulls out a notepad and kind of tears a ticket off of it. Says, "Present this at the inn when you set up your room if you're staying there, and they should provide you with a discount."
Thank you. And then I will pat my horse and make my merry way out of the stable.
Okay, are you headed towards the inn, or?
No. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to head into the temple district and look specifically for look at the different religious locations to see if I find one that piques my interest.
Okay. Is there anything specifically you're looking for in one?
No, I think at this point it's sort of an existential quandary. Am I attached to anything? That kind of thing. What do I feel pulls me towards it? That kind of thing.
Okay. Nothing's going to particularly stand out to you as far as being that holy feeling that your paladin is used to feeling. Nothing is radiating that justice that you're used to seeking out in temples.
Okay.
In fact, it's leaving you a little kind of empty feeling. Seeing all these holy buildings around you and all these libraries and not connecting with any of them is definitely odd for your character.
Alright, well, I guess I will glumly make my way about,
Just kinda,
wandering.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yonder, what do you want to do?
Alright, Yonder's gonna probably keep an eye out for 2 sorts of things. He's not expecting to see any kind of druid groves here, but anything in that vein, trees or anything of that
So
sort of nature.
There's a in the center, kind of in the center of the temple district, there is a park section, and it is. You definitely tell it looks like there's a couple of druids around, and it's definitely green, a lot of trees, and it's been kind of walled off against the rest of the city because of all the noise and the commotion that the rest of the city brings with it. And it's kind of a peaceful, serene spot. There's a pond. It's got some fish in it. You know, what you would expect to see in kind of a nature park.
Alright.
Is there anything in particular you want to do there, or are you just going to kind of hang out?
He's kind of feeling a little bit messed up after the last town that he went to, so he's probably going to try and get in touch with the the life force of nature.
Okay.
Sort of like reestablish his connection with Obad High. He's also gonna make note of any what pirates might have in the way of a library or where they might keep maps of some sort. He's kind of worried about their straying off the path.
Okay. So you take an hour or two to kind of meditate and center yourself in the gardens area, and you kind of walk around the temple district. There doesn't really seem to be anywhere that has a records in the temple district. You ask around a little bit, and a couple of people are that points you, and like, yeah, there's a section over in the Eastern District that houses a lot of the city official records, and chances are what you're looking for would be in that municipal part of the city.
Mm.
And so they kind of point you over to the Eastern District to continue looking for something like that.
All right. Sounds good.
Go, what are you done?
Question: Do we has our one person who left the city with us, Lagoin, is that Elf Taylor still with us, or is she like the minute we got closest down, she bounced?
No, she is. I was gonna get that taken care of after I got all the players
Okay.
taken care of.
That was Olga's still with her
Mhm.
because her thought was it's a good introduction of she's a professional tailor, that was her trade. So Olga wants to cruise the merchant district just to see what's up there. Are there tailoring shops and such?
There,
And if there are, it's going to be traditional half ogre style of, okay, little elf tailor, I don't like elves, but you were the only person who was willing to leave that town under your own, which means here's 200 gold, make something to yourself, or die, but at least you're alive. And then Olga's going to go to Scurvy Town because that sounds cool.
Okay. So the elf takes the gold and nods, and kind of she's wandering around Merchant District with just starry-eyed because she has never seen this many people in this many buildings in one place, and so she is just kind of wanders off, looking very lost and confused, and just kind of trying to find a spot to set up. That being said, making your way to Scurvy Town. Scurvy Town is probably where Freeport started. It is these are all shanty shacks that are stacked on top of each other, leaning against each other. Half of the town is built over planks that looks like it was a big dock at one point. So the water's just kind of lapping against the boards, and they're creaking and bending under your weight.
Awesome.
And you're getting eyeballed by a lot of people as you're walking through, because you get the feeling that Scurvy Town is where a lot of these people, they already know each other, they know who belongs to what group, and you're a new face, and this has set a lot of people on edge.
Liam, eat.
Was
Just
there
making notes. Awesome. Got it.
anything in particular you want to look for in Scurvy Town, or are you just walking around?
Well, it's one of those. Yeah, Olga saw it in Happyville that half-orcs were accepted, and almost seemed like they'd probably be the kind of allowed as a monster would be accepted. But to make your way and be sociable, it's like, okay, how to make yourself acceptable? Go to the worst part of the town, do something nice for the worst people in town. Now you've got a way in. Now I've got an in. So looking for like the drunk in the corner kind of thing that looks pathetic, and do a cure minor wounds on him kind of thing to like make him feel a little bit better. Yeah, hey,
Okay.
you need a fresh drink. Kind of look for the lowest of the low.
All right, so you've got a guy that's in one of these shanty shacks, and he's shaking under blankets and just kind of not convulsing, that's the wrong word, but it looks like he's going through withdrawals. That's probably the best way to describe it.
Oh, gotcha.
And he's got puke stained on his shirt. He doesn't look like he's eaten. There's a smell of just decay and rot coming off of him.
Awesome.
And that's probably the worst person that you've come across there in Shantytown.
That is the perfect. That is the person that Olga will try to help.
Okay, what are you doing?
Well, heal skill is the first check to try to figure out what's wrong with him, and then you roll the spell. So would use her heal skill to try to figure out what the hell's wrong with him. Drug convulsions kind of thing. I have a 10 in that. Can I take a 10
You can take a 10.
instead of roll for it? So
Yeah.
okay, so if I take a 10, I get a 20.
Yeah. So it looks like he's withdrawals is probably what it is. There's something he's addicted to that he's not gotten. And then on top of it, it looks like he may have a case of scurvy as well, because his gums are bleeding, his teeth are yellow, and it just doesn't look very healthy at the moment.
Awesome. So that's a that is a. Whew, if he's addicted to something, it's almost a. It's not the perfect cure for him, but you don't cure him perfect to begin with. So that's
It's
a
always free.
exactly, my friend. It's a neutralized poison. followed by a cure light wounds to get him to not dying stage.
Okay.
And you can roll back to somebody else now. I know where I'm at.
All right, give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna plug my headset back in.
Cool. Guys, this is my new minion. I call him Scurvy McNastystein. I'm gonna train him to be a cleric.
Dirtleshire.
Shantytown. Got it.
All right, I'm back. All right, Gingy. So we'll roll back over to you. You have spent the day kind of studying your craft and getting some sleight of hand down.
I'm just kind of observing my people, seeing. I'm trying to, like, while I'm studying, pick up on conversations and listen, see if anybody in this town is sharing my general outlook and talking about marks and anybody trying to get one over on people.
Okay. So about 40% of the people in the temple are gypsies and grifters. The other 60 are legit performers. Well, mostly legit.
Could be both.
Yeah, mostly legit performers. They're actually trying to put on plays on the stage and practicing lines and whatnot. So it seems like grifting is definitely pickpocketing is definitely a viable trade in Freeport. A lot of the news and talk and gossip that you pick up is about the lighthouse that is being built out in the bay. It's called let me make sure I get the name of this right.
Dougalshire?
Milton's Folly.
Dougalshire.
And it's called Milton's Folly after Drac Milton, one of the pirate lords that runs Freeport. Namely because a lot of people just think it's a huge waste of his money. And a lot of them are trying to talk about how they could get work on Milton's Folly and try to have an accident and, pick up some extra coin quickly that way.
Workman's comp.
So the person that it's named for, he runs the entirety of Freeport.
He is on the council that runs Freeport, yes.
Okay. Where could I go to find information on the council as a whole who runs Freeport?
The Eastern District would be where you would want to go to look up any municipal records like that.
Okay. Then would you say did I go generally unnoticed with my day with the gypsies, or do you think I've become more part of them and, hey, no, have a good day to you too, sir. Oh, it's you again.
They're definitely gonna be accommodating. They're gonna want to get to know you because if you're trying to run some grift on them, they would want to know about it. So they're definitely accommodating, but it's a very wary kind of, we don't really trust you, but we're gonna talk to you kind of, because maybe if we talk to you, you won't fuck us over, we won't fuck you over, and we'll be pals.
Is there, I'm trying to think of a good way to say this. Is there any identifying marks amongst the local grifting guild? Is there a grift union going on? Some way to identify themselves in a crowd?
Roll me a a spot check.
Spot check.
Alright, so there are two things that you notice. They may or may not be connected to each other. One of them is that everybody of the more gray moral persuasion seems to have a red bandana tied around an arm, hanging out of a pocket, as an easy indicator that this person is a grifter and probably shouldn't be your target if you're picking somebody's pocket or doing what you do. The other thing that you notice is a couple of the people that are on stage, as well as a couple of the gypsy types, have tattoos on between their thumb and middle finger, or excuse me, first finger. I can't talk tonight. and it looks like it's the hilt of a dagger or a sword, or some sort of bladed weapon made out of tiny asterisks or stars. It's not something that seems to be flashed around, it's just something that's kind of there.
Hey, Mom.
Has there been any individual of the Grey persuasion that I have actually conversed with over this time, or have I just been by myself in the books all day?
Well, you spent a good chunk of your time in the books just looking through different techniques. There have been a couple of groups that have walked by. One has been a tall, elven gypsy with red hair. He calls himself trying to come up with a name. Hang on. Trying not to trying not to recycle names from like American Gods or something. So give me a second. My first thought was Loki, and I was like, no, because that's just a recycled Norse god name. That's terrible. So
Yeah, no, I'd call you a hack if you
Yeah.
just busted Loki out of nowhere.
It's actually, it's just his stage name. It's his street name. Low Key. Lowkey. He's Low Key, man.
the
That's
first,
just like Loki, the trickster god in American Gods.
yeah, the first time that I read that and I didn't catch that right away, like I was kicking myself for not catching that. I'm like, how did I not notice that? His name is Davgon.
Steve.
So there's an elf that you've kind of gotten familiar with, red hair named Davgon, and he is definitely of the more gypsy-ish persuasion. He's
Did
got
you almost say gypster?
what's that?
Did you almost say gypster?
Gypster? No, I did not.
He walks around drinking coffee.
But he's got his hair tied back in a bandana, and he's got a couple of necklaces hanging off of him. His fingers are full of rings that you would expect to make lots of noise when he moved. And you've actually watched him a couple times, and he can move completely silently if he wants to.
So, because that's kind of a two-way street mentality. I'm sure at some point I would have noticed that basically people are being overtly friendly, but putting me at an arm's length, I'm pretty much being eyeballed.
Mhm.
And I would be doing the same. Basically, never grift a grifter. Kind of watching them. So if I've noticed this elf taking some kind of specific interest in me, or at least in what I'm doing, I would probably return that twice as loud, basically, and go out of my way to introduce myself to him.
Okay. He nods, and he's very, friendly and open with you. He's like, hey, are you, did you just roll in? What's going on? What's your story, basically?
And that's pretty much how I'd explain it, is just rolling in, making our way across the country.
Right on. And he, actually, and this is the first person that has kind of commented on it in your recollection. I was like, what's with the... And he kind of gestures to your collar.
Give me a sec.
Fashion choice.
I was not prepared for that question.
Fashion choice. That's how they all wear it back on the East.
That's how we wear it in the low.
Here's what I'm going to do.
Uh-huh.
And if I need to roll a con or a charisma check to try to make this work, I will do so. But I'm basically going to explain that myself and some of my traveling companions weren't always the wealthy adventurer types that we are today. At one point, we were actually abducted by slavers, and this was their way of keeping their inventory in check. Part of the reason we're traveling is we're researching ways to get rid of these.
So he nods and he kind of listens along. He says, right on, right on. The only reason I ask is I had had a buddy at one point that had one of those. He got caught. Oh, where was the case? It says some town a couple months, maybe a year ago. That he got caught doing a little bit of this and that, and they slapped one of those things on him and told him he had to go do on this wild and crazy thing, and for their city to make up for it, they would take it off. And I don't know, I guess he was just like, nope, I'm leaving, and tried to take it off, and yeah, he doesn't talk so well now. Kind of missing a lower jaw.
I'm gonna look around like to see who might be listening to that conversation, and and just look at him and just like eye contact the whole time, like, wow, that's an amazingly unrealistic story. I've never heard of anything so fantastical in all of my life, and tap the tip of my nose while I'm saying that.
He nods. He's like, yeah, I gotcha. He's like, why don't you and your pals, your buddies, come meet me for drinks tonight. We'll talk about old grifts and fast ones that we've pulled. That sounds like good times.
And I'll just smile and nod and go, that would be a pleasant evening.
All right, roll me a perception check real quick. Or, goddammit, a spot check.
Spot check.
I will eventually
check.
remember what it's called between systems at some point.
Hello, this is Spot Check.
Alright.
Ready to comply.
So you do notice that he is one of the people with the tattoo on his hand.
Okay.
Other than that, is there anything else you want to do at the moment?
That pretty much covered it. If we have plans this approaching evening, like, did he? I forget what time did he say we were going to meet?
He says let's meet at like 6 o'clock, and we can have some dinner and some drinks and some
What
stories.
time is it now?
Let's call it roughly 4:30.
Okay. I wouldn't mind swinging to the East End then, if possible, and continuing a little bit of research on the council.
Yeah. Let me come back to you mainly because I have to find the information. So, Cypher, what are you doing?
Okay, well, I have wandered, or I'm still wandering through the Temple District forlornly, realizing that this place doesn't hold the same attachment as it did before. So, I am what's the word I'm looking for here?
Forlorn?
Well, I've already said forlorn because
Oh.
I'm walking forlornly through the thing. All right,
Somber.
so I am despondent. All right, so I guess I will. All right, let's see. 1, 2. All right, so where's the die 8? Die 8. Where the fuck's the dice? There it is. Die 8. Roll die 8. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I guess I'm walking south.
Where are you going?
I'm walking. I don't have a destination, so I'm just sort of wandering
Okay.
through the town, through the city, I guess.
Okay. So you end up in the Merchant District, if you're going south from the Temple District, and
Mhm.
there is a merchant for everything that you could possibly want. There are armor merchants, there are swordsmiths and blacksmiths, silversmiths, there are jewelers, there are tailors, there are leatherworkers, there are people that claim to trade in rare and fantastic artifacts, and anything else that you could possibly look for.
Yay. All kinds of stuff.
Pretty much.
Well, I am... okay, I will go to and I will find an armor smith.
Okay.
I'm going to look for one that looks reasonably... I don't want to say upscale, but someone who looks like they get regular business.
Right.
And I'm just going to ask the smith to just take a quick look at my armor and give me any repairs or upgrades that he thinks might be suitable for this
Okay.
armor, so I can get myself back to full on 100% state.
Yeah. You look your armor over and it says looking at it, there's not a scratch on it. Have you ever actually worn this in battle? And it looks
Yes.
like your time in Lagoin actually did some good for your armor as well as yourself.
Ah, okay. Well, I will be caught off guard by that because I didn't even think to look at my armor to see if the magical effect of the place would have fixed it.
And it's like, yeah, this doesn't look like you've ever actually worn it anywhere outside of maybe a costume ball. What do you need repaired on it?
Apparently, not as much as I thought. Then
Well,
I'll just turn around and walk out of the place,
he'll
a
scratch,
little befuddled.
he'll scratch his head and go back to pounding on whatever's on his anvil.
I'm going to actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to find I guess an alley,
Mhm.
an area that is not occupied, and I'm going to open my bag of holding and take a look at and pull out my two-handed sword, and look at the state of my two-handed sword.
Okay. Two-handed sword still looks pretty rough off.
Okay, so the sword in the bag wasn't repaired, but I'm taking it the spear is in pristine condition.
It is.
Okay.
The just as a side note, GM note, the Dale pin is in your bag.
Yes, yes it is.
Okay.
Hi, I'm holding a holy relic. Hey, everybody.
How you doing?
I'll wave it around.
Yeah, just making sure.
No, I just because of the fact that I already have this big ass spear that I'm carrying around. I don't really have hip space for something else.
Sure.
So, yeah, the two-headed sword, the god pin, and the fucking lawful good axe, and what else do I fucking have? No, I'm holding the great spear. Yeah, so all those things are in my bag of holding.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, it's a great sword. So the god pin is a great sword. Okay. Yeah. So I guess I guess what I will do at this point is I now have a purpose. So I need to see if I can find one of the other members of the group.
Okay. So we'll let you wander around for a little bit and we'll come back to you then.
Yes.
Yonder, what are you doing?
All right, so after meditating and feeling a little better about life and nature, for Yonder heads over. You said it was the Eastern District where the
It is.
municipal stuff is. Okay, so he's gonna head on over there and see if he can find some kind of map, records, depository, or anything like that. Does he bump into anyone else that's heading over?
I think Gingy is headed that way, but probably not until a little later in the afternoon from when you are.
Okay.
So on your way, you don't run into anybody. You do get over there, and I don't know if you remember the world map. If not, I can pull it back up and show you guys where you are. But
Yeah, I kind of remember it.
you're closer to Mogdon. You've gone a little bit, backtracked a little bit, and gone east, back to the coast. But you've also headed north. So you're closer than you were when you were in Ashenport.
It seemed like it was west and north of where we were at.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, he's gonna make sure there's a road or something that they can follow to make sure they stay on track.
Okay. This area, because of just the Badlands area around Mogdon, isn't really a road, but you definitely have a direction that you can head now to ensure that you're going in the right direction.
Yeah, but we're not gonna get it out right now.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
Is there anyone in that area that might be knowledgeable of the surrounding area? If most of these are pirates, they probably don't spend a lot of time inland. But
Well, the Freeport's attracted a lot of people. Not all of them are pirates. So it's a regular town or city. It just has a higher than normal pirate population.
their pirate to normal citizen ratio is really high.
That's right.
I see.
And the pirates don't hide what they are here, like
Right.
they would in a normal city. So yeah, there are clerks and record keepers around.
All right. Yeah, he's gonna talk to someone that looks like they've traveled before. You know, maybe they got that harrowed look.
That weathered look to them.
Yeah. see if he can find any stories or actual information even about Mogden.
You ask around for a couple of people that are in the records area looking. So it's a large library where they hold all their maps and town ledgers and everything. And there's a couple of people that are poring over maps that look like maybe they've come back from an expedition or planning one or something. And you ask a couple of them, and a lot of them just kind of shake their head and they're like, that's a fairy tale. The place can't possibly exist. And even if it does, that was centuries ago. It's bound to have been overrun by orcs or trolls or whatever hell a dragon may have made it home. I don't know for sure. There's no way that there's anything of value worth going and risking your limbs for up there. So I haven't been personally, but if you're foolhardy enough to go, then, by all means, here, let me map you a course to its supposed location. And they give you a general idea of where it's supposedly located, kind of where the Badlands meet the mountains, and they tell you that, it being of dwarven construction, more than likely it's probably set into a mountain somewhere, and they give you kind of this general region.
Would you know of anyone in this town that has knowledge of Mogden? If not specifically Mogden, then perhaps a dwarven craftsman that we might be able to consult about pursuing the adventure into Mogden.
Yeah, there's a guy, and he laughs as he's thinking about it. So there's this dwarf in the merchant district. Says he's the son of this guy Droverson or somebody who's supposedly worked in Mogden or owned Mogden or something. And if you're willing to trust a half-drunk dwarf, you're more than welcome to go talk to him.
Yeah. In my opinion, half-drunk dwarves are better, the best kind of dwarves.
Hey, no, it's just like that.
They're either that or full drunk.
Fair enough. But yeah, if you wanna take stock in his fairy tales, he runs a weapon shop over in the merchant district, named Sword and Stone.
That sounds excellent. Yonder's gonna head on over that way.
All right.
I'm sorry. What was the name of the place? Was it Sword and Stone?
Sword and Stone. Yeah.
Sword and Stone. Okay. Sword
All right.
and Stone.
I'll bring us back around the goat. What are you doing?
I'm gonna be AFK for a second, you guys.
All right.
Gotcha. Well, is this drunkard / addict whose shanty I'm kind of lingering in? Does he seem to be showing any signs of improvement, or is he just about the same?
He's not shaking any longer, but he's got a bloodshot, just kind of dead look in his eyes. That is about the best way I can describe it. It's like he's looking past you and just not seeing what's there.
Soulless eyes, like a doll's eyes.
Nice. Not to sound horrible or anything, but Olga, there's nothing wrong with her. She'll cruise by the next couple of shanties and glance around to see if there's people with the similar, okay, that's the same condition he was showing before I threw healing efforts and some spells on him.
There are many of them. A lot of Shantytown is people that don't have anywhere else to go because they've spent their money on, whatever addiction they chose or whatever vice they chose, and now have nothing left and are just kind of. They're there because they don't have anywhere else that they can go.
They got nothing.
Yeah.
Right, gotcha. All right, so Olga's going to casually seek out, need one that's in a little better condition than these. She's like, okay, I need one that can still somewhat coherently converse and, brain's still working a little bit.
Okay. And you come across a couple of groups of people that are rolling some of these people and just, checking them for any valuables they might have on them. And one of the guys that they're attempting to roll does put up a fuss, and while he's not successful in driving them off, they still kind of check him for anything he might have that may be worth anything. He's definitely more vocal and coherent about it, and he objects a bit more than anybody else does.
Absolutely. Well, I never want to interfere with somebody's professional work. That would be just rude. I'd let them finish rolling him for what he's got.
Okay.
When they depart, I will approach.
All right.
Just professional courtesy there.
He's yelling at him still as you're walking. "Oh, fucking bastards! That was all I had." He's just slurring and kind of yelling at the top of his lungs. He's waving a very weak fist in the air, very irate about the whole thing, but he really just doesn't look like he's got the physical or mental capacity to really do anything about it.
All right. Well, just to get his attention, Olga just like tap him on the shoulder with a finger, throw a Cure Minor Wound spell on him. The whole 1 hit pointer one, just to get his attention, because that'll usually get your attention if suddenly you feel better.
And he does, and then a moment later, he grabs both sides of his head and screams in agony. He's like, "Oh fuck! Oh, that headache does not feel good. Why? What? How have I offended you that was a good idea? Jesus fucking blah."
I could always do the opposite. Could always do a cause minor wound on you, but it might kill you. I'm curious.
You're a pain in the ass, is what you are.
I am at that. I'm willing to pay for your time. I need some local information.
He's like holding the side of his head still. He's like, "Well, you said pay. What do you want?"
What do you need first to make your head hurt less? What drug or alcohol do we need? Take me there. We'll get it.
Just give it. I'm not. I don't know who you are. I'm not taking you to my source.
Okay, so it's a common enough dealer. I could probably find it my own, but it'll be easier for you. How much does this drug cost?
He looks you up and down for a second. You're wearing some pretty your armor, right? It's kind of banged up.
My armor is unless the town healed it up, but I don't know about that. But yeah, her bandit mail's the shit we found in the very first adventure.
Yeah, it would have been put back together in Legoyne. So you're looking in pretty nice repair. So he's going, it's not cheap. He says, 45 gold would loosen my lips, I think.
I'm gonna cause minor wounds on him and walk away. Bink! Let's see how he feels now. Take it back.
And he yells after you and shakes his fist in the air, and that's really what he has the mental and physical capacity for. So that's what he does.
It's mostly shantytowns and stuff, but there's got to be a dive bar or something.
There are a couple of
something along those lines.
Makeshift inns and taverns that look like they're probably more permanent than some of the other structures around.
Perfect.
Yeah. There's one place called the Hissing Rock, and it's got this big like eagle's head mounted over the doors, carved out of wood. And it looks like probably the only thing that you've seen in here that might actually be worth anything.
That's where Olga's heading for.
Okay. And you go in, and it's, at this point it's probably 2 o'clock for your character, so there are still people that look like they're passed out over tables from the previous night. And the place stinks of stale ale and beer, and just these people that are just kind of passed out. There is a guy behind the tavern, or behind the bar. It looks like he's taken enough care to make sure there's nobody sleeping on the bar in front of him. And that's about all that he really has cared to do. And as you walk in, he kind of raises an eyebrow. It's this big, probably linebacker-sized human. He's got a big scar going down the left side of his face.
Oh, you're just putting love interest for Olga now. Olga is going to approach the bar and raise a finger and make the universal tipping back a drink gesture.
He looks at her and is like, "What do you want?"
Whatever's the local swill on tap is fine.
He shakes his head for a second and says, "All right." And he picks up this big jug, and he's got a stopper at the top. He pulls it out, and he pours. And he's spilling it over the bar as it's pouring because this thing's huge. There's just no way to really control it. And he puts it back down, stoppers it back up, and he says, "That's 2 silver."
Okay, so put down 4 silver.
Okay.
Not gonna drink it, just slide it, and then move the glass away from myself a good few feet's length. I don't really want the drink, but thank you. I'm looking for information.
And he nods and he goes about kind of wiping down the bar where the stuff is spilled, and then he opens the jug back up on the floor, wrings the towel out into it.
It's bar swill. Nice.
It is.
Good image.
And it was like, well, what do you want to know? You're paying.
These people seem to mostly have a problem that's far beyond that fine liquor you're serving. I'm curious what the drug of choice is that makes them in such a pathetic state.
He says, well, there's a lot of them. There's booze, there's women, there's men, there's something in between. There's the devil grass, there is moon sugar, there's
The jazz cigarettes.
pretty much anything that you could really look for, you can find out here in Scurvy Town, and a lot of them, once they find it, don't leave. And as he's telling you all this, he's picking up glasses and just pouring the contents, and they're the glasses from the night before into the same bucket or barrel that he poured your drink out of.
Hey! He's making the money go as far as possible. I can respect that. Olga can respect that. All right. There was devil's grass and moon sugar mentioned specifically. That was kind of nice. All right. Olga's just lingering in there, and I'm even gonna every few minutes, it's 2 more silver gonna go across, and I don't need a refill. I'm just gonna keep pumping in for local information about the nastier part of town. You can jump back to another player now if you want to.
Okay.
I'm cool there. Thank you.
So, Gingy, what are you doing?
I'm making my way to the east side of town to try to find information on the local governing body.
Making his way downtown.
So are you going to I guess you're going to a municipal building intentionally, looking for one that's going to have records and whatnot.
Yes.
Okay.
Specifically, I'm trying to find information and portraits, if possible, on the local, whoever the governing council is. I'm trying to find out who leads this city.
So, after digging through a couple of books, talking to a couple of the patrons there in the, excuse me for 1 second.
Making my way in the world today.
Sorry.
Takes everything you got, man. Everything you got.
I figured you guys wouldn't appreciate me coughing in the mic, so. I always forget that I can flip this mic up and it'll mute. Anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So just be aware of that.
So yeah, talking to a couple of the citizens in the same building, as well as a couple of people that work there, you get the idea that there is a Sea Lord that has a position over the city, and the Sea Lord is a position for life. Once you attain that position, it cannot be taken from you unless you're killed. There's no way to impeach you or anything. And because of that, a lot of the citizens are very wary of who holds that position. In theory, the Sea Lord can make whatever law he chooses, but they are subject to the approval and the support of the Captain's Council. Sea Lord is basically a monarch for the city of Freeport. He can levy taxes and allocate city funds, and that's really it. And that's kind of his main duty as Sea Lord, because the Captain's Council keeps him in check for any other ridiculous things he might want to do.
Specifically, I'm looking for a detailed image of it. I want to be able to identify the Sea Lord in a crowd.
Okay. There is along one of the walls there are paintings of each member of the current Captain's Council, and then a portrait that is kind of elevated a little bit above those. That is a portrait of the Sea Lord, who currently is Captain Drac. And let me see if I can find a good description of him anywhere. If not, I will make it up on the spot. But if I've got one, it would be nice to use so I can keep everything in line. Night, buddy.
Good night.
Night, Liam.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's an official one in here real quick. Alright, I don't find one, and if it comes up later and I find one, I will just write on it. It's a picture of a dwarven sea captain. He's got this big bushy black beard, the normal captain's hat on. And he's got a patch over one eye and the scar that runs zigzag down and over that eye. He looks like he's got most of his teeth. And he's probably a good, for a dwarf, he's a large dwarf. He's tall and bulky on top of it. So this is definitely, even with his small stature, is going to be an imposing person to talk to. But you've definitely, between the size of him and the mark on his face and the patch, you could pick him out in the crowd if you wanted to. He's pretty unique looking individual. The under each of the paintings is the name of that captain for the captain's council and the Sea Lord.
Okay. Is there any kind of public liaison who works in this building? Somebody who would deal with outsiders with questions, any kind of welcoming committee seems like too positive of a term for a town like this, but somebody appointed to deal with the foreigners?
There's not that is not an assigned role that anybody has, but you get the idea that the people in the building that you're in at the moment are pretty knowledgeable and would be able to direct any questions that you had, and it seems like it's probably part of their job to do so. So they're pretty approachable.
Okay. Well, I will approach the first approachable-looking person with a great big, just a fucking tonic salesman's grin.
All right.
And, I'm assuming I'm still wearing my fancier of duds, and they've only been made fancier by the town that we were in previously.
They have been cleaned up.
So with that being the case, I am going to approach and be like, "Hi there!"
And little elf is gonna jump, startled a little bit at the loud, boisterous greeting in the place that's normally pretty quiet. And yes, she's very taken back by your sudden enthusiasm.
I am just gonna have the most mustachioed twirl. Like, I need all the information you can bother to give me about your fanciest of sea captains.
She like, all right, and she digs around behind her for a minute. She pulls out, and it's a pamphlet that has a list of the current captain's council and their names, as well as kind of the. Sorry, one sec. Got this weird tickle in the back of my throat. As well as their kind of what they're known for, and who they are with portraits. And so, is there one in particular you're looking for, or should I just go through the whole thing?
In particular, the King of the Pirates.
Okay, so you're looking for information on Captain Drax specifically?
Yeah, Captain Drax.
Alright, let's see if I can find anything. So there's this nice little list for all the other ones, but I'm sure he's probably fucking not on there. Yep. God damn it. Can't make my life easy. Let's see. There might be another place I can find information on. Fact.
Yar har fiddly dee.
Yar har fiddly dee. Those of you wondering why I'm digging through stuff, normally have all this right here. I'm trying this a little differently, so
Dig.
Yeah.
Dig.
it's kind of right at the last second. I was like, nope, we're going to do something different tonight.
Can you dig it?
I love that. Who does that song? It's on Papa Lead itself. It's so like cheesy, but I still love it. Alright, so Captain Drac, what he did is he basically pulled all the I'm giving you a history for the city, as hopefully the information you're looking for is in here. What he did is he founded Freeport as he's trying to found Freeport as a legitimate city. And he pulled all the pirate clans together, gave himself the title of Sea Lord, mainly because he was the one responsible for bringing everybody together. He's eliminated any remaining enemies before they could really organize against him as he was founding the city. And it's less the tales of his dispatching of his enemies are really more grandiose than what it really was. He kind of fancies himself a king, but he really kind of resisted that urge, and he set up the Captain's Council to kind of keep whoever was Sea Lord in check. A lot of his friends are on the council, and a lot of his enemies are on the council. But he wanted to ensure the survival of Freeport as an independent city-state after his death. So the reason that he is building Milton's Folly is to try to make it a prominent landmark that will tie the city to its roots here and let it progress even after he dies.
Wow, so that makes him seem like much more of a reasonable, upstanding cat than I would have previously assumed.
He still has the flamboyance of a pirate captain. The Milton's Folly that's being built is far gaudier and bigger than it needs to be. And that is like his crowning achievement, what he wants to tie everything together. It definitely has that pirate captain flair to the lighthouse.
Well, that certainly gives me all the information on him I think I need at the moment.
Okay. Let's see. Anything else you want to do at the moment?
No, while I stew on that, I'd say let's move on.
Okay. Cypher, what are you up to?
I was looking to find one of them. Basically, it's a rather sizable location, so I'm betting that I don't know if I'm going to run into them, because especially if they're going in places and talking to people, I may not see them on the street.
Yeah, you do have the speaking stones if you want to track somebody in particular down.
No, I'm just looking for one of the other members of the party. It doesn't matter who.
Okay. Let's see, we'll do it this way. Alright, so you do eventually track down Gingy.
Okay.
He is, you find him as he's coming out of the records hall. He's got, looks like some pamphlet and some information about the town with him.
So I would not jog, but I would briskly walk up to him and clap him on the shoulder.
Okay.
Okay, so is this me on the way out?
Yeah.
Okay. I am my thoughts on this town and how it's operated have just been changed a bit. So I'm going to I was like this for what it. I'm basically just going to kind of I'm gonna be kind of perplexed, and just kind of hand him the pamphlet and go, for everything this place seems on the surface, it actually might not be a bad place.
I didn't think it was a bad place to begin with.
With the amount of drugs and homeless and diseased, and I thought this place might be corrupted to its core. I could be wrong on that.
I haven't noticed. I was distracted, but that's not why I found you. I need you to review your personal belongings. Do you notice anything odd?
Have I? Would I have? I'm assuming because of Dr. V tries to keep his appearance up as much as possible. It's the only way you can really grift people. Would I have noticed that my outfit and things are mended?
I mean, chances are, even going into Lagrange, your effects were in the best condition out of anybody's. So I'm gonna guess that you probably, like, you didn't notice a whole lot of change.
I guess after saying that to me, I will kind of pat myself down and look into some bags and just like, nothing of particular note.
It just seems that it seems that the items that we had on us, not that were within our storage pouches, were repaired along with our health and well-being while we were in that other village.
And I do remember as we entered the previous town, I did cast a illusionary spell to make myself look as Dudley as possible.
You did.
So is that spell still being maintained?
Are you still maintaining it?
I'd say I probably was, because it is a grifting component. I will basically release that spell
Okay.
and kind of look myself over.
And you look to be in, if not brand new, like new condition.
These buttons were definitely not this shiny.
That's a fair observation.
The magic of that village did not only affect our well-being, it also affected our personal property. I don't know what that means exactly.
From what little I can observe, it would appear all in the positive. Everything seems to be well tailored and laundered, even though I don't remember having such services performed.
Considering the source of the magic in that location, I'm concerned what its effects would be on us as a whole.
I don't... And this is a subject that Dr. V isn't really quick to talk about, but basically would just point out that, despite any personal feelings about the source of the magic of that town, apart from psychologically, it didn't seem to have negative side effects on the townsfolk who had been utilizing it for generations.
I can't speak to whether or not it actually did affect them mentally, but I do know that the nature of what was happening at that village was not natural.
No argument there, but do you sense evil on your person? Like, have we been tainted? You'd be able to detect that quicker than I would.
Not that I can tell, but I'm still concerned.
I'd say caution is reasonable, but I don't know if I'm going to lose too much sleep over it.
Just keep an eye on yourself.
Yeah. Like I said, caution I think is reasonable. Because we were certainly dealing with unnatural forces, so, caution is wise.
Do you know where anyone else is?
No, I haven't passed anyone.
I'm going to see if I can find them.
I'll go with you because we should probably regroup.
So be it.
Steve, what are you up to? Hang on, somebody have head speakers using? I'm getting echo.
Not me.
Here, I'll do it.
I've-
I'll do an
I've
acid
not-
test on myself. You hearing it from me?
Nope.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, your speakers are doing that weird echoey thing again.
Echoey thing.
Which person?
It's you.
It's me.
Yep.
Always is magically me. Everything I've got is muted except for my headset.
Weird. I blame Alaska and Russia. You guys are buddies, right?
You can see it from your house.
Relax.
Or Alaska.
Still there?
Yep. Or
Still
wait,
echoey?
no, it's not
Test,
echoey
test.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that cleaned it up. Alright, cool.
I unplugged it and plugged it back in.
Get it. I just
Okay.
Weird.
Steve, what are you doing?
Steve.
Alright. So,
You got your map.
Yonder's got his map. He's gonna be making his way towards the that store where he might find Droverson the Younger.
Okay. And probably roughly about that time, you'd probably come across Gingy and Cypher's characters there in the Eastern District, coming out of a separate building.
Is our Taylor also in that district?
The tailor is in the was given gold and was told to go make a name for herself, and so she is attempting to do so.
Okay. So she's not gonna come with us. She's
Well, at
either
the
going to
moment,
become a pirate or dead.
right at the moment, she's gonna go try to set up a tailoring shop for herself, and we'll see how well that pans out.
Nice. All
Why
right.
is it we're all hearing that Mama's Fallen Angel song by Poison? She's going to end up being a stripper. Like, oh! She'll end up in a caravan going back to her village.
She,
Can't
well,
make
she
it.
has no experience with money, so I'm assuming she's just walking around with like a fistful of coins, just like doop de doop de
Hey
doop, and then gets
guys, how's it
stabbed.
going?
hey.
Stab, stab, shake, stab.
Shank.
Hi guys, what are you doing?
What are you guys doing? Does anybody know where I could spend all this money?
I take no responsibility for if she's that stupid that she's not strong enough to make it, but she'll die trying.
Where I'm from, you can hold your money out like an idiot.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think that's a personal fault of hers. She's not.
Eh.
She's never been exposed to that. She doesn't know what currency is. That's not a personal failing. That is a cultural failing. So that's.
I thought she was one of the people that came there as an adult and was
Is
living
this
as an
gonna-
adult.
she
Is this
left-
going to be a nature versus nurture argument? Is that what we're going to
This
get
is,
into?
I don't know. This is a good. I don't know if we want to get into this tonight or not.
Why not?
I
I
stop
really-
a toddler with a gun is a good
Really-
toddler with a gun.
That's it.
Anyhow, Steve, yes, you do come across Cypher and Gingy's characters.
Are they in the middle of a conversation? Or am I?
Yeah, they look like they're probably talking to each other.
What are they
should-
saying?
we
as
should
they're
They're
walking?
on
whisper-
speaking terms.
We should whisper, then point at him and laugh and whisper some
Right.
more.
Also,
Alright,
Gingy, to keep note, it's probably running up on about 5:45, 6 o'clock. So your
And
meeting
do
will
I
be-
have a reasonable idea of where this place is they told me to meet him at?
He gave you directions to a tavern in Old City to meet him at, and let's see if I give you a name here in a second. It's called the Shipwright Tavern. Ship's Right Tavern, rather.
Okay, so I will explain to Yonder and Cypher that I have been invited by some of the local grifters to share some information, and I think that might be a wise course for us.
All right. When is that?
In about, I'm gonna lick my finger and put it in the sky, then squint at the sun, say about 15 minutes.
Gonna measure the angle of somebody's shadow.
I'm gonna hold my thumb up under the thumb and look at the horizon. I'm like, well, it's about 2 knuckles.
Yeah, far enough away from a nuclear blast to be safe.
Yonder's gonna say that he's discovered that a relative, not just a relative, but a one of the offspring of Droverson is rumored to be in the marketplace here. He's thinking about asking him in fact, finding out any information we can about the entrance to and the innards of Mogdon.
That seems like an exceptionally useful line of questioning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Yonder probably hasn't noticed that their possessions have gotten better. Yonder mostly wears like leathers and things like that.
Yeah, you're
Well-
usually in bear form or something, so.
Yeah, like
How are the
not really.
how are the people in this
wearing
village
clothes.
or city reacting to fucking Captain Always a Bear there?
You mean Tambourine, the subtle?
Yeah, yeah.
Is Yonder in bear form or is he in human form at the moment?
Yonder's in human form. He definitely has been walking around with Tambourine. Though. Tambourine obviously didn't come into the library, but he definitely like stood outside.
They don't blink. It's fairly
Okay.
common for people in town to have companions. So the fact that Yonder has Tambourine there isn't something that they concern themselves with. Because it appears that the druid has a hold of the bear. The bear is not running rampant. So I think if the bear was just mauling people in the streets, they may have issue with it. But at the moment, everybody seems the bear's under control. He's with his person, so they don't seem to bat an eye at it.
Tambourine randomly running around mauling people, and people are just like, taking another hit off their devil's grass. It's okay.
Another day in Piratesburg.
Another day in all right, so Yonder has no idea about that situation. Other than the fact that he feels very, very fresh.
So fresh and so clean.
So fresh and so clean. But yeah, so if you guys want to go do that thing, if anyone wants to come with me to talk to Droverson the Younger.
I think that's important, but
It doesn't sound like he's going anywhere. So if this is
Right.
in 15 minutes,
yeah, mine's actually scheduled, so I would invite you to
Would
go
you-
with us if you cared to, and then we could try to.
yeah, would you like to come with me afterwards?
Yes,
Okay.
because that seems like a promising lead.
I don't have any reason to believe Droverson will be leaving. So I will come with you.
All right.
And then they played a jaunty flute.
Joe, where you done?
I'm still lingering in Scurvy Town, hanging out at this bar and pumping this guy for as much local information as possible.
Okay. As you guys talk a little bit more, he kind of opens up a little bit more, and he's like, you don't look like you might be looking for it, but there has been some mention of something coming into Freeport called Abyss Dust that some of the locals may have gotten their hands on, if reports are to be trusted. That isn't, don't want to say isn't welcome, because it's clearly welcome if it's here, people are buying it. but I think is probably a little bit more damaging than Shantytown or Scurvytown or Freeport could really handle.
Got it.
He's saying this kind of like as a, I'm worried about it, but I'm not. I'm a big tough bartender, and I don't care about my clients.
Yeah, I
kind
got
of,
you. He's like, I don't care about my clients, but if everybody suddenly becomes crystal meth addicts, that's way worse than potheads and a little bit of coke now and then. They'll die. I no longer have clients.
Right. Exactly.
I got you. I got that feel. You played it off well. Okay, it's getting later in the day, so Olga's, Olga will slip him a gold piece in the way of thanks. Still hasn't touched her drink, and then goes, shit, I need to find the rest of my crew. We didn't say we were going to meet anywhere. Speaking Stone, call Siri, call the bear. Do you want to talk to Cam? Yes. She will try to call Yonder. Try to find Yonder.
And so Yonder, you get a notification on your Speaking Stone probably after you've just had this conversation with.
Please
everybody.
update the Speaking Stone version 4.5.
Sorry,
And he's like,
sick.
I never actually do the updates. I prefer.
Oh, this is gonna take like 4 days for you to actually update now.
He's running on Speaking Stone 5.0.
You have to reinstall all your apps.
Jesus, my mom
Deleting
is still
contacts
running
now.
Speaking Stone 5.
Anyway, you get your Speaking Stone starts to kind of vibrate in your pocket, letting you know that Olga is trying to get in touch with you.
All right, so I'll
He
pick
stops.
it up.
He stops in the middle of the conversation. 1 second, guys.
Is it an embarrassing ringtone?
I got
1
it.
second.
It is. It's a bard singing about your own great adventures as you were a toddler, and it's kind of narcissistic of you to have that as your ringtone.
It's clearly the sound of two bears fucking.
It's the bard rendition of What Does the Fox Say?
Oh, jeez.
A little fucking loot in the
Alright,
background.
I'll be like, hey girl.
Well, Olga's usually because he's like the one who does something smart, and Olga is like, I've learned a few nastier things about this city, which is where we tend to gravitate to. Where are you guys at? Where should we meet up?
We're headed. Yeah, I'll hand the Speaking Stone over to.
I was gonna say, like, does the Speaking Stone work like bone conduction, or is it a speakerphone?
I always envision them as walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
So
Because that could be like, girl.
Let me tell you.
Oh well, if Doctor,
If it doesn't have speakerphone, I'll probably hand it to Vitus.
it's got speakerphone because it's like a walkie-talkie. Okay. Everybody can hear everything. It's not a.
Okay, so he can just.
You're
plug
one
in.
of them assholes. Walking
Yeah,
around
Yonder,
the gym
like,
with your own personal soundtrack.
Yonder probably doesn't understand speaking systems that like aren't through trees, so he probably like screams into it and he like holds it away. He like looks at it while he talks.
You get one of the goat screams on the other end, like the
Yeah,
actual
like-
goats. Ah! Like, oh my god, what was that? All right.
You're like, you can hold it up to your ear. It's cool.
oh, he's yelling at it at top volume.
Yeah. But yeah, so he's gonna let Vitus tell Olga where the meeting is.
I will pass that information and say we're pursuing a couple of interesting leads.
Okie dokie. Should Olga come there too, or you want her to stick around gathering more dirt about the city?
Your call. I don't know how useful this lead will be. If you think you're on to something, pursue it.
Okay. Then Olga's gonna continue to linger in Scurvy Town.
Okay. Right on. Alright, So we're gonna switch over to the group of everybody there. You guys are headed to the ship's right. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay.
I believe it's pronounced Dougalshire.
And you know what, son of a bitch, I closed the fucking thing with the dude's name on it. Hang on. I don't remember his name.
I'm trying to remember. It
Avgon.
sounded it like rhymed with
Avgon.
like Mugglemeyer.
Avgon. BAV20. Avgon.
Avgon. That's right.
Avgon.
Dougalshire?
Dougalshire. That sounds right. It's got a ring to it. I like it.
That's his maiden name. Guy elves get those.
All right. So you guys make your way to ship's right, and Davgon is there, kind of in a back corner waiting on you. Looks like he's actually already ordered food for Vitus. Wasn't sure how many other people were coming along, so he hasn't ordered any other food, but there are a couple of glasses on the table already. The food that he's ordered, it's fish, and it is, you can smell it from halfway across the tavern. It is seasoned to hell and back with something that is so spicy it's making your eyes water, and you haven't even sat down at the table yet.
Wait, is this a meeting or a date? He's ordered you food already.
It's
Jesus
food.
Christ.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
He probably already ate too. In fact, there's
That's
a
it.
plate in front of him.
That's that Vitus effect. He's hot.
That's right. But yeah, he motions for you guys to have seats. He's like, I went out of my way. I was gonna have dinner and figured it would be rude not to order for you.
Make sure you put out.
I will very politely put the aspirin between my knees that has kept my people without pregnancy for generations.
Remember to leave space for Jesus.
Alright, and but he motions for each of you to sit down, and his gestures are a little bit more dramatic than you would expect, but you've actually come to kind of be used to those from Vitus, so they don't actually catch you off guard too terribly much.
One of those people who's like, I'll bid you adieu.
That's right. He drops the smoke pellet. He's like, oh wait, we're just getting started. It's not time for that.
The smoke bomb goes off at the beginning of the meeting. This guy's...
He shuffles in his seat and 3 smoke bombs go off in his pants.
So, I'm gonna look at Vitus and raise an eyebrow.
So very
And
good,
I
but-
will, just kind of under my breath be like, local theater folk.
It's like
You know.
we seem to want to try to settle everything down and get back down to a actual reality here. So he says, so you have, he looks at the three of you, you've all got interesting stories to tell, it seems. He kind of indicates to the collars around your throats. What's all this about?
And I'll again just say with like a fucking used car salesman's grin, like, slavers, we're it's a tragic hero story, really. We survived the worst.
You just
And
wear the collars for reminders, then?
well, we can't get them off.
Oh, that is tragic. They
The
fortunately-
stickiest of pickles, as they say.
It is. I don't think that they'll be catching on for next year's fashion. Just something about the rust and the raw skin doesn't scream to be showing up next year. But
Maybe if the right people would model our new fashion,
well,
Or
we can,
the right bears.
I can make you one.
I'm sure it would be the finest collar ever crafted as well. But I will pass. I think it would probably clash with my complexion. He says, so what are you in Freeport for? No one comes to Freeport just to come to Freeport.
Freeport's kind of a happy accident in the middle of our travels.
Oh,
Ah, shit.
tell me more. Where are you going? What are you doing?
Why are you so interested?
I'm-
Yeah.
I'm making conversation, trying to be polite and introduce you to this grand city. I was trying to get an idea of what your interest may be.
Our interests involve where we're going and where we're coming from.
They might. You could tell a lot by somebody the roads that they've traveled.
I feel like
Helmet.
in a society where a lot of people are traveling most of the time, it's like most of their identity is involved in where they're going.
That's true. I'll give you that. And I do feel a certain shade of kinship with this guy. So I will tell him where we're going. I'm a little dodgier on our past, but I'm less secretive on our hopeful future.
He says, "Well, that's I'm guessing you're telling him you're going to Mogdon, or what do you say?"
I'm going to tell him that we're looking for information on Mogdon more than we're traveling there, because it seems like to most people it's like a Brigadoon legend
Shangri-La,
place. Yeah, so I don't like, because then we're going to come off as crazy people, like, we're going to Shangri-La. Well, we're researching. We're looking for information on.
He says, "Well, there's that is a place of particular interest to several groups, for various reasons. Some of them religious, some of them nefarious, I'm sure. But it's a legend that's been around and told around campfires for centuries, and I'm sure that, you know, with every legend there is that grain of truth. Take these god pins, for examples, that we were all told of as children. I'm sure that, you know, some mighty gladiator slew a lich with some sword that was named such and such, and, you know, the at one point I doubt that there's any swords pinning any liches to places, or any swords the key to keeping a giant monster at bay. I doubt that is reality that we live in, but, you know, I'm certain there are fanatics out there that think maybe it is."
I would just smile and agree and
look at
say,
each other.
that's you know, I'm sure there's one of those swords of legend have probably been passed down from shop to shop and no one even knew it. I'm a man of logic. I think what you say is probably very true.
He nods and says, "So Mogdon, I believe there's this dwarf in the merchant district who swears up and down every time he gets plastered that that's where his family is from. So you may find some luck in that general direction."
What were some of the other
I started to make it, like,
parties that
regular
you mentioned?
What do you mean?
You said there are many parties interested in Mogdon?
Oh, just as on an academic scale, there's this one group that believes that Mogdon holds the key to saving the world or ending the world or something.
I definitely
Something about something in balance and things, and honestly, it got boring and I stopped paying attention.
I'm going to kind of arch an eyebrow and say, have you heard of such a cult that may worship the information of that place?
I don't think anybody worships informations. I think there's probably a cult out there that fancies themselves doing great deeds by tracking down these swords and the place and destroying them or saving them, or so. Who knows? It's too boring.
I'm going to really lock in eye contact with him and kind of do like a stroking motion between my thumb and forefinger and go, would these groups have any kind of markings we might be able to identify them with?
Mayhap. He says, he leans forward, and over the table, his voice definitely lowers an octave. He's like, "Look, the things that you're doing could potentially end the world or save the world. There are people out there who will
Oh shit, okay.
want to stop you. There are people out there that will want to help you. I'm kind of torn at the moment. And then he leans back. And
I just
this
don't know
is
what
all
to
kind of under his breath. Very, it's meant for your ears only kind of deal.
Yeah.
When you say your ears only, are you talking about
The
just
people at the
Vitus's
table.
ears?
No, the people
Okay.
at the table.
And I'm going to say, like,
Yeah, I
the
know.
fate of the world is a task we haven't been assigned. The fate of this, and I'm just going to draw a finger across my throat, is more our speed.
Well, sadly, it sounds those fates are intertwined if you are who I've been told you are, and if you have what I've been told you have.
And that's when I will stand up.
Yeah.
I'm not getting hostile.
Yeah.
Yet.
That's what I was doing. I thought it was clear.
I'm,
Okay.
I will address him and sort of change my posture a little bit. I'm actually going to relax my posture
Yeah.
from where it was and just say, well, now you have my attention, and now you've piqued my curiosity. I'm not sure who you think we are, but it might be interesting to see if we can live up to it.
Have your friends sit, and I'll tell you what I think is comfortable. Or have him
I'm gonna-
leave. Either one. But stay or go.
I'll just look at him and just say, I think we've all come here for the same reasons. I think at this juncture we should just share some stories as intended.
I read like the figure ass wrong way.
I'm not saying you have to forego any information either. I'm just saying we're
He's-
here to share some stories.
Well, he's looking at Garen, waiting on Garen to either sit back down or walk out, trying to make a decision.
Well, I was gonna ask, like, how big is this guy?
He's an elf. He's not big, but he's definitely wiry.
Okay. And we don't have a picture of where we're sitting in the bar and whatnot. So,
No,
where
I can
where
draw
is-
one up if you want one.
No, it's okay. So where in this bar is this table that we're sitting at?
It's in the back. It's in a corner. It's a darker area of the bar. There's nobody really paying you any mind.
And where is he sitting in comparison to where we would have to sit at this table?
His back is to the wall. Your backs are out to the rest of the tavern.
Okay. So then what I will do is I will slightly step back. I will put my hand on. I will grab the lower shaft of my spear, and I will basically place the spear tip on the not into the table, but on the table, pointing towards him, and just stare right at him.
Okay, his demeanor doesn't change. He's still very kind of. He shrugs it off. He's like, "Are you staying or are you leaving?"
You're making a lot of assumptions about who we are, and I want to know what you want.
Well, I'm happy to tell you, but I'd like you to sit and be comfortable if we're going to share stories.
I think you're going to do a lot more talking than us right now, and you should start, or we're going to end this in a completely different way than you expect. Start talking.
I will, as soon as you make yourself comfortable or dismiss yourself.
Okay, obviously I didn't make myself clear.
You want the information that I have. I'm willing to give it to you under certain conditions. Those conditions being, you sit and make yourself comfortable and we talk and share stories.
I don't think there's any cause for any kind of enmity here. I don't. We should probably all just take a step back and think about just talking here.
That's
I
a
don't
great
think
idea.
anyone-
He waves the
In danger
waitress
of-
down. He's like,
Yeah.
rounds for everybody.
I have no reason to trust this person who we've never met who says he knows more about us than he should, and you're sitting here talking as if he's a friend? I don't think so.
we don't
I
need
wouldn't
to
go
trust
that
him
far.
to talk with him. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
just
that's
talking
like
with
friends a bit much. I'm just interested in what he has to say.
we. It doesn't sound like we're in any immediate danger.
Oh no, like don't get me wrong. I'm ready to make a move when a move is necessary. At this point, it's just he clearly knows more than us about some things, and I would rather catch up to speed before making a reaction to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust him.
Don't.
Which means that I'm not going to sit in this place that he picked and have a conversation. You want to talk, we go somewhere else. And I turn around and walk out the door.
But the food's good here. Yeah, he shrugs. Oh well. So the rounds come. The waitress drops by for large glasses of ale, and he takes the one that was meant for Garen and kind of drags it over to himself. He's like, "Oh, I'll take this one as well." And so he starts drinking and talking. He says that I am well, am is probably the wrong word. Was at one
Yeah,
point
that's part of my problem.
um,
I'm following three
part of
people,
a-
those three people
a
really
group
just isn't that.
called the Hilt of Stars that believes that the God Pins are real, that they were crafted and bring balance to our world by holding forces that we can't comprehend at bay. Both forces for good and for ill. He says, I know through what I've been told that you have come across one of these, that you have been tasked with investigating the location of their creation, and which you've all but confirmed by your interest in Mogden, and that's fine. I have no problem with you or yours, and that I'm letting you know that there are people out there, though, that know your movements, that know what you have and what you've been tasked with, and think that things should be left alone. And that the confirmation that these things exist will bring about the end of the world or some such dreary nonsense.
Oh, that's true. But
I,
you tried to know
It eventually got too fantastical for me to even believe. But there are those out there that do, and I figured that you may want to be on your guard. So honestly, it was just good intention on my part and wanting to hear some delightful stories.
Well, sure. Some of that's true. Some of what you heard is not true. We've been, to be totally forthright, we have been tasked with finding information on that place, but I'd consider the majority of our company to be of a skeptical sort. So the
Must help.
the existence of such a thing, I'd say I'd still not put a lot of faith into.
Children's stories, to be sure.
But either way, whether it exists, whether it doesn't, whether the mysticism and lore behind it has any bearing of truth, we couldn't say. We've been tasked to go find this place and learn the truth about this place. Fates of worlds have not been assigned to us.
He knows.
Now, whether the existence and possession of such a sword, several of us have swords, but none of which I would say has identified itself as such a thing, nor would I believe I could recognize it if I saw one.
It's like, well, I think your uptight friend may know something different, but that's just
Our uptight friend, well, and to speak for all of us, we've all been betrayed, we've all been trapped, we've all been put into weird corners and made to not trust people. I'd say him being on his guard is not so much a response to you as much as it's a response to everything he's been through.
Fair enough. Some of us handle our baggage better than others.
Very true.
He says, well, let me tell you stories of my goings-ons, and maybe, we'll be more forthcoming. And I honestly had no ill intent in this meeting. I just, honestly, the fish here is good. And this is that plate that's been sitting there, and he kind of motions to it, and he says, if you're not going to eat it, may I?
Help yourselves.
All right, and this is just like, the scent of this fish has been eye-watering the whole time you've been here, just from the spices, and he just devours it in front of you. He kicks back the ale and washes it down. He says, so, here is, the order of, the Hilt of Stars, are probably one of the more fanatical groups I've ever associated myself with. But, we do weird things for women. And, he says there is I guess their ideas are that these swords will tear apart reality, and that reality is already weak and falling apart as it is, and that the existence of these swords and their improper placements will just tear larger and larger holes in this reality. And he goes on to give you some back history about the order of, or the Hilt of Stars, and just these ridiculous ceremonies that he went through to get inducted, and the silly things that they do. He does mention the tattoo on his hand as being a marking indicator of the order. He says, so anyone you see with this, chances are they are keeping an eye on you, at the least, and they are aware of your presence. They know what you've been tasked with, and they have ways of knowing that you do carry things with you.
And I will just reiterate that, again, fates of worlds have not been tasked to us. We, to be completely forthright, aren't the most selfless of groups of people you'll ever meet in your life. We tend to take care of ourselves more than we take care of the people around us. And the only thing that could really divert us from this path would be this. And just gesture towards my collar. Like, this is why we're going. This is what we care about. If this was taken care of, we could adjust our plans.
He nods. He's like, I may have options available to me to help you with adjusting your plans if it was so desired.
And again, I'm just going to keep gesturing to my throat. Like, this is my plan. This is my goal. This is my task.
He nods with each iteration. He's like, yes, and I may have ways that can be helped.
Still.
If it was something you wanted to pursue.
That is why I'm waking up in the morning. Without this, I wouldn't owe my services to anyone, and I could start running this town.
He nods. He looks to Yonder's character. What about you? You share his current predicament. How do you feel about your accessory?
Looks hot.
Well, yeah. So far as I've been able to see it, I've become more and more increasingly worried of the possibility that the people that are sending us on this mission are sort of forcing us to aid them in bringing about the end of the world. If I were to imagine position, what better way than to force legions upon legions of unseeming adventures
Look
to
at
track
It's a bear.
down the equipment that they're looking for.
So you would be open to the idea of having your burden removed.
I owe no
Um,
loyalties to the people who put this on me.
Yes. I the burden being the collar.
He nods.
Yes. Beyond that, I might be interested in finding some way to ensure that the people that we're working for aren't trying to use this because we've been assured that they'll be removed if we complete this task for them. But it's becoming increasingly apparent that they might be up to no good.
He nods.
We haven't received any direct evidence, but based on legends that I seem to be putting more stock in nowadays, having seen a few things for myself, and just the amount of people that are interested in what we're looking for, I seem to be more and more convinced that there's something bigger going on here. So it would probably be prudent to get some way to remove these, and then if there was, I don't know how involved you are in all this, but if it sounds like you're not interested in destroying the world.
No. A hot meal and a soft place to rest my head would generally make me happy. The extras along the way, the adventure, the stories, those are always what I strive for. I had a friend, and I believe I told your companion about this earlier, who had a similar predicament, and he was not wary of what he needed to do, and the collar, well, it's hard for him to chew anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He says, but in seeing the device and helping him afterwards try to regain some sort of composure and semblance of a normal life, we took the device to a mage here in town who was able to at least discern some information from it, and I'm willing to bet would be willing to look you boys over. That brings us to the matter of, if we were to have your situation adjusted, what form of compensation would there be for me? What would I get out of it for being such a nice fellow and helping you chaps out?
What would you request of us?
Well, currently, I am. I've never sailed the seas and been on the open ocean as a captain of my own vessel, going wherever I please and doing whatever I'd like. And so, currently, there are a few things that I need to acquire for this to happen. I need a ship, I need a crew, and I need some port for a destination. The port is easy to come by. I can throw a dart at a map and that's done. The ship and the crew are a little more difficult. He says, if you and your associates would be willing to help fund the ship and the crew, or become part of the crew, and sail with me towards places unknown, then I think having you burdened down with other responsibilities would be a detriment to that. And I think that seems as a fair trade for both parties.
Well, funding a ship doesn't seem so far outside of the realm of possibility.
I got it.
But anything shy of captain is not a job I would be willing to take.
Says, but can you captain a ship? Have you captained the ship?
I captain everything my eyes lie on.
Oh, bravo. Good response. He laughs. He was like, you most certainly do. He says, I will tell you what. If we embark on this adventure together, then I will make you my first mate. And in the event of my untimely demise, assuming it is not at your hand, I will leave you